drop Mimi off at the sitters. See you in a couple of weeks. Good girl. The day has come for us to head to Australia for the first time ever. Here we are actually about to catch a flight to Oahu. Since traveling from the States to Australia is a really long flight, we thought, why not break up the trip and make a stop somewhere along the way? And so it was a perfect excuse for us to make a quick stop in Hawaii. Made it to Hawaii! Woo! We've been coming here every winter for the past few years now. We knew we wanted to save our energy for doing touristy stuff when we get to Sydney, so we mostly just took it easy while we're here. I got to sketch a little, we went to the farmers market and other food places. We also did some light shopping and surfing at the beach. Successfully rented the boards. Let's see if we can still do this. After hitting up some of our favorite spots in Waikiki, Michael and I were on the plane headed to Sydney. We landed at about 8 in the evening. Walking out of the airport and feeling the summer evening air felt so nice, especially after our 10-hour flight. Everything was pretty straightforward, from deplaning to customs to getting eSIMs for our phones. It took us about 45 minutes altogether. Here's a quick overview of our itinerary. We're going to try and see how many of these we can check off, but our main objective is to see the Sydney Opera House, of course, and do some surfing. For now, we're just going to check into the hotel and settle in for the night. It's day 1 of our first full day here. First things first, we're going to check off one of our main objectives. The Sydney Opera House is iconic. I've seen it in a lot of movies and dreamed about the day when I would see it in person, and now we're finally here. This morning we decided to book a tour on a whim and learn a bit more about the history, so here are just a few specs of the place. One really cool tidbit I learned was that this was actually designed as a result of a worldwide competition that they held in 1956. Over 220 designs were submitted. Jorn Udsson's design got picked, and that's how he became the architect for the Opera House. Also, there's over 1 million of these ceramic tiles covering the entire Opera House, and supposedly they're designed to be self-cleaning with rainwater. Which, speaking of, the rain could not have timed it any more perfectly. There was a brief shower while we were inside and stopped just in time when we were ready to walk out and take some pictures. After our tour, we were in the mood for some food and coffee. Lucky for us, the coffee culture in Australia is thriving. We walked over to the other side of the harbor to this area called The Rocks, and everything there was so charming, from the historical buildings to shops that are sprinkled along the cobbled streets. We ordered our very first Australian coffee, found a good place to sit down, and I just knew I had to take out my sketchbook and sketch a little bit. Sauce pack I've seen. I don't know what is.
Going up.
Just got back to the hotel. It's only been half a day, but wow, I did not think I would like Australia this much. It's a work day here in Sydney, and we happened to stop by one of the food courts near Salesforce Tower, and everybody was out to get lunch, and it was crowded, but still organized. I also couldn't believe that just a 5-minute walk from where we are downtown is the Botanic Garden. It's really cool how 1 minute you're in the city and the next you're walking around the oldest garden in Australia. Also within walking distance and another must-see for us is the Queen Victoria building. Designed by George McRae, it has mostly high-end stores and specialty shops. And we found out that the basement connects to yet even more malls in the area, which is convenient as we try and find a place to eat dinner. It's been a full day of exploring and our legs are ready to call it a day. We're excited to head to the beach tomorrow, so we'll see you then. Don't you have work? Hello to day 2. Today we are at Bondi Beach, possibly Australia's most famous beach. It's about a 20-minute car ride from downtown. This morning we're checking in here for our group surf session. We didn't bring our GoPro today, so while we weren't able to capture our first moments surfing in Australia, the conditions were not ideal, so the footages would not have worked out anyway. Good news is, in a couple of days, we're going to try surfing one more time at a different beach, and we will bring our GoPro then, so we'll have more surfing footages to share coming up. After checking out the swimming club, we continued along the coastal walk, which spans 5 different beaches, including Bondi Beach. But I made the mistake of not packing my shoes for this trip, and I was not up to the task of walking 6 kilometers in flip-flops, so we unfortunately had to bail halfway. Still, even in the 2.5 kilometers we were able to walk, we got to see a lot. From the different cliff formations to people exercising and sunbathing. It's a very laid-back lifestyle here, and I can definitely see just spending a whole day here and having a beach day swimming at all the different beaches. Hi, how you going? Is what someone would say if you're from Australia. So after washing up at the hotel, we ended up heading back to the same area near Queen Victoria building to check out the rest of the shopping centers that we didn't get to see yesterday. And with Thursdays being late shopping days, there was actually a lot going on. You could browse a bookstore, shop, eat, and we even found a huge arcade with every kind of machine you could possibly want. We were also surprised by all the food options that were available. Even the food inside shopping malls did not disappoint, and it really seems like there's something for everyone here. It's day 3, and it's zoo day. Today we're at the Taronga Zoo and we got here by way of ferry. While it is possible to drive here, we opted for the ferry because, first of all, how often do you get to take the ferry to the zoo? And second of all, if you're hoping to cut back on some commute time, the ferry is a great option as it will get you here in about 12 minutes.
We made it to the Taronga Zoo. Of course, the first thing we're going to see is the Australia exhibit animals. So far we've seen kangaroos, koalas, wallabies, and the Tasmanian devil. But the main objective for me today is to see a quokka. I've never seen one in real life before. They are supposedly the happiest animal on earth, so I'm making it my mission to meet them in person. Why are you sleeping?
Happiest, more like nappiest.
It wasn't until later on I learned that quokkas are mainly nocturnal, so it made sense for it to be napping in the middle of the day. It did eventually wake up when we checked back on it a couple hours later, and I gotta be honest, it was not nearly as happy looking as we thought it'd be. But then again, I would probably be cranky too if I didn't get to sleep in.
The food? This is not food, this is my sketchbook. Sorry.
We spent most of the day at the zoo and we ended up taking the second to last ferry back to Circular Quay. For dinner, we ventured to Chinatown and Haymarket to satisfy our craving for Asian food, and sure enough, there were so many places to choose from. We eventually dined in at 2 restaurants, then made our way down from the main block to check out Spice Alley. We were still a bit too full for a sit-down meal, so we ordered takeaway to enjoy back at the hotel. It's day 4. Another place on our Australia list is Bondi Beach, best known as the place where the first World Surfing Championships happened in 1963. Our group surf session isn't until 11 a.m., so we have time to get a quick bite.
On our way to our surf lesson here at Bondi Beach. This beach is really cool. We're walking along the path and it has both grass and walkway. We had to get on the Manly Fast Ferry from Sydney to get here. And it was pretty fast. We got here in about 20 minutes and now we have about 10 more minutes to go. See how it goes. Hope we catch some waves today.
gelato session was everything we could have asked for. Great conditions, friendly instructors, and to top it all off, we stumbled into this gelateria that had the best atmosphere and corner views. After cooling off from the gelato, we checked out the Corso nearby, which had a market going on because it's the weekend. We then took in the beach views one last time and hopped on the ferry back to Circular Quay.
This is the best place to rate in summer. That's why I'm still
Today is Australia Day, and it's a complete coincidence that it's also our 5th and final day here. We're back at Circular Quay, and it is as busy as it gets. There's something going on everywhere we look. Ferries are having a race, there's performers on the street, and Australian pride is on full display. It's a beautiful day to be outdoors, and of course I couldn't let the day go by without having one more sketch session. Honestly, thinking back about this trip, I cannot say enough about it. Every day we keep finding something new to love about this city. We went to Australia thinking it'd be cool to check a continent off our list, but left wishing we could live here full time. It was so much fun, and I feel fortunate to see so many things. From the beaches to CBD to the Australian accent, Sydney has made its way to the top of our list of favorite cities, and while it's tough to say goodbye, we can't wait to visit again soon.
Wow, okay. Yay, good girl.